It reminds me of like back in the day, like you would hear like in the 30s and 40s, you know, like I'm taking my act on the road, you know, like you come up with your bit, you come up with your angle, you come up with your little slice of the show business pie, and you're going to, you know, present it to an audience and see how they react. And while I think that aspect of show business, when you do make something that is good, it's entertaining, it's funny, it's dramatic, you know, whatever it is, like that's amazing. And I do look for things like that. There's something about, just sitting down and having a real conversation that you're documenting and seeing that it does connect with an audience. Content that is a nice antithesis to something that's highly manufactured and planned and adjusted and iterated on, or I didn't get a laugh there, or I didn't quite get the thing there, so I'm going to tweak it. And you know what I mean?
I think content matters, like content, not in the sense of like content, but what something contains, the ability something has to elevate, you know, how somebody, or change the way somebody looks at something. That matters more than anything else.
Yeah.
And there's something nice about just the shitty footage doing well,
which someone else commented on earlier
people
today.
Like it. People seem to like it. And it's like, we didn't do that because of, we were like, oh, shitty footage is, we didn't
do it as part of our act. It wasn't like it wasn't, well, wait a second. If we want to have a successful podcast.
And it's funny because in the back of my head, I'm just like, oh, it's got to be HD or da-da-da. It's got to be this and this. And you got to have, you know, like we just did it because it was the easiest way to get 3 cameras set up,
and it was the least data.
Yeah, it was the least data, and we could see the little record light, and we could do rechargeable batteries,
and they're inexpensive.
Yeah,
compared to like an FX3 or something.
They're like $20, and I guess we had the thought like, oh, maybe we'll just do this, and then, you know, if this thing ever gets to a point where we can upgrade the cameras, then. But they kind of became a part of the thing.
It's character in the show.
It's a character at this point, and it's just, you know, every time we put that up and it looks like shit, and then I see, but the content is real. Like not. It's just not. You don't roll your eyes, and it's like there's so much garbage out there that just has nothing to give.
Yeah,
and. You know, that's all I want to see out of my work and anybody else's work is just like, I want to see something that's real. I want there to be something beyond just the plastic layer.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff doesn't have anything beyond that plastic layer, or it's just pure plastic. It's just, you know, it's brittle and it's hollow. And I think every time, we put up a garbage video, and in the back of my head, I'm listening to somebody be like, oh, you would have to do it this way or this way or this way, because it's like a nice little just middle finger to that.
Yep.
Like, well, I think it is the content. Like a big part of my lens in which I view the world, or my model for the world, is that content matters. And, you know, there's plenty of examples that make me think that maybe that's not true, but then every time we get a new subscriber or something, I'm just like, I think it might, like, you know, just another notch in the belt, or another piece of evidence that maybe it does.
That was a bit of one of the questions I was going to ask, sort of like, how do you feel when we have a rip of like a bunch of subscribers coming on versus when that might have happened with your main channel? And not that there's not overlap there, but that, even just with me, there's something weird about how I feel when we add a bunch of subscribers to the podcast channel, where that middle finger, or that making this thing, just pressing record on a conversation we would normally have, brings on subscribers, more people into the fold. There's just a completely different reaction to it. I don't know how to describe it.
I'm sure an aspect to it is validation or something, but
sure. What we're doing is working.
I really don't think that drives it completely. I mean, and I'm so disconnected from the YouTube. Like, you handle that 100%.
True. Yeah.
I will see it.
Yeah.
Usually,
and I'll text you sometimes if the video's like, ripping.
And I mean, I love it. But I don't think it's for reason of.
Is there something like
I don't look at this as like, oh my gosh, it's going to rip and we're going to,
Yeah, because
going to be successful, because it just doesn't matter to me in that way. But it's like, I'm sure this is like the feeling that if somebody's blogging just because they love to blog and share ideas,
Yeah.
and then that blog takes off,
Yep.
and there's like an immense sense of pride in the, not in the fact that my blog took off, but just that like, oh man, this is a medium that people,
Yeah.
if you respect the medium, people care about it. I don't know.
Maybe it's just like, I don't know. There's something about this not being an act that it makes you not expect anything.
Yeah.
So then when unexpected things happen, you know, like I think there's definitely an element of, you know, if I spend 6 days editing a video on my channel, there's some expectation that it's going to connect with an audience. And when it does, cool, on to the next one. When it doesn't, oh, that sucks.
I've had a lot
Whereas
of
it's the opposite with this one. Wow.
It's almost, if I had to describe it, and this might be the best, the most clear way to put this, is it's like proof of concept. Like I've had a lot of conversations with people, and everybody has their idea for how you should do something.
Yep.
And
a playbook.
It's never, for the most part, at least in my professional experience, it's never, you should just do something that like it's always just fabricated.
Right.
And the more proof of concepts we can get in the other direction, the more we have that to push against that, that wave of just bullshit.
Yep.
And I think the world would be a much better place if the quote unquote playbook was just doing things from a place of compassion for the thing you're doing.
Right.
And so, yeah, the more proof of concepts we can get, the better.
It had been a golden afternoon, and I remember having the familiar conviction that life was beginning over again with the summer and summer.